Dates are some of the healthiest fruits in the world, and since they're so sweet, it only makes sense that they can serve as a substitute for our regular sugar. Dates are also a great source of fiber, and so it is no surprise that in a previous video where I shared how to make date syrup, there were a lot of comments like, what did you do with the chaff? So all that good old fiber is wasted. Well, here's how to make date powder. A great way to use dates as a sweetener while keeping all that fiber intact. For this, you're going to be needing the driest dates that you can find. The first thing I'm doing is cutting my dates open to remove the seeds and also to allow me wash them properly, because the dates we get here tend to have these brown specks that are like worms or bugs or just an indication of something not being right. I went on to wash the dates, just running water over them and just using my hand to make sure to lose the particles, and then just taking them out of the water almost immediately so that it doesn't soak enough or soak too much water and gets, soggy, because we need the dates to be dry. Remember, we're making dates powder. I did this 5 times before my water could look like this, and even this is not very clear, but yeah. The next and probably the most crucial step of this process is drying the dates. So I went on to spread them out on a tray, and I proceeded to arrange them with the insides facing up. Because I intended to sun dry the dates, that was supposed to help them dry faster, and so I proceeded and put them under the sun outside and just covered up with a sack like this, because flies are attracted to dates and we don't want that. But then in between rainy days and 2 days of taking them out in the sun, this is what they looked like. They are no longer wet, but they are definitely not dehydrated, and that's not good enough for our dates powder. So I proceeded to use my oven to speed up the process, and so I preheated the oven at medium temperature, and after about 10 minutes I put the dates in the tray in the oven, and I went back every 10 minutes to just check and stir up the dates, and as they heated up they got a lot softer, yet there was this brownness in the insides that I could notice. So I took that as an indication that they were actually drying up. But when you heat sugar up, it tends to get soft and melt, right? One last tip that I employed was to leave the door of the oven ajar, just a few inches open, so to allow the circulation of air. Once I did that, it was easy for me to tell just how hard my dates had become, and so after just about 10 minutes I took them out of the oven. In total they were in the oven for a little over 30 minutes. So these are my dates a couple of hours later. By now they had completely cooled and they were now really hard. A few were not like as hard as others, but some were really like rock hard, and that's what we want, right? Now onto the final most important part of this process. I'm just employing the help of my blender to grind this into powder. This didn't take long at all. I did it in batches, and this is what it looked like by the time I was done. But hold up, we are not done here. There's still one more step before we seal this. So because these granules are quite large, I'm going to use my sieve just to filter it and get a finer powder out of it. You can see that the texture of what is left in the sieve is quite different from the already filtered powder in the bowl. So if you've watched this video up to this point and you like it, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. Also, I would appreciate it if you subscribed to my channel and joined this community. I'm done with the several batches, and you can see clearly the difference in the textures. Now I'm just going to go over grinding this a second time. I mean, how fine your powder comes out depends also on the strength of your blender, but you might want to filter the first time and then blend again. It might just turn out smoother than you expected. So this is our dates powder after grinding the second time. I tried to save that, but I noticed that even though I couldn't get this out of the sieve, it wasn't like that large. and I just decided to leave it that way because even our regular white sugar is not like smooth, right? So I turned that into a glass jar. You'll notice that my dates powder is quite clumpy, and I think that this has to do with the species of dates that I used, so it's not a problem if yours turns out this way. And after this final powder had gone into the same jar as the other one, I honestly could not tell any difference between them. So yeah, this was quite the successful venture. I'll just be sure to try it in Harmattan when the air is less humid and I get to dry my dates naturally under the sun. You can use this as a substitute for sugar in your cereals, in your tea, in your smoothies. It's a healthier alternative and it's equally sweet. So it's a win-win. Thank you guys for watching this video. That is it really. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and feel free to share this video with people you think it might be helpful to. Leave me a comment and please join our growing community by subscribing to my channel. Until I see you in another one. Bye.